Chapter 18, Section 3 and 4. Today's going to be very short. So, behavior of light. This is just kind of a brief review of behavior of any material. So, how light behaves with materials. Light can be going through a material, so it can be a transparent material, so it allows light to go through the material. It can be translucent, which means it scatters the light. So when you think of translucent, think about the glass or crystal bathroom wall tiles, where you can see light through it in some ways, but everything's still kind of blurry. And then opaque means it absorbs or reflects all light, so you can't see through it at all. So think about your desk. Light can be reflected. So you have an image or a copy of an object that's formed or reflected by waves of light. So think about a mirror image when you look at yourself in the mirror every morning. You have regular reflection. That's what you're seeing in your mirror at home, which is smooth, polished, refined. Or you can have diffuse reflection, which is rough and uneven. So think about, for a diffuse reflection, one of the funhouse mirrors, where it kind of expands the size of your head or makes you look really tall. One of those. Light can be refracted. It's the bending of light, and we talked briefly about that. So think about, again, that straw in the glass. The straw looks bent or broken. A mirage is the same thing, because there are different densities of atmosphere just above the Earth's surface. A mirage can be formed. So like I mentioned in class, if you have if you're driving down the road and you see what looks to be like a puddle of water out in front of you, and by the time you get there it's gone, that's a mirage from light refraction. And then last section is color. So the color of objects, and I'm talking about light here, not paint. It depends on what the object is made of. It depends on the color of light that strikes the object. So we have primary colors. And again, I'm not talking about art here. We're talking about science and light. So your primary colors are red, green, and blue. If you've ever wanted to choose a different color, like in Microsoft Word, for example, if you go in and look and pull up, you can see that it has that spectrum of visible light colors. Well, at the bottom of that visible spectrum is R, G, and B, red, green, and blue. And it shows you a number that coincides with how much red is put in, how much green is put in, and how much blue is put in to give you that color. So mixing the three primary colors will actually give you white. And I know that doesn't really make much sense, but we'll take a look at a couple of images that will kind of help clear that up. And then primary pigments. This is where we're talking about art. That would be cyan is your blue, magenta is your red, and yellow is, of course, your yellow. Those three, when mixed, will give you the black. So there is a difference between pigments and colors that we're talking about for this class, so keep that in mind. Alright, so looking at this image, you can clearly see that we have, here is our blue, here is our green, and here is our red. So when you have red and blue overlapping, you have magenta. Blue and green give you cyan. And then green and red give you yellow. And then, of course, where all three overlap in the middle, you have white. And that's it for Chapter 18.